or as guys failing drug tests. With the Brock thing, I think so shady and fishy. So shady. So shady is the whole deal. I was suspect from day one. You can go back and listen on Rogan, listen on Fire and Kid. I was like, what are we doing here? Yeah. The guy's obviously on shit. They knew he was going to fight for a while now. They're just bringing back to save the card. It's so shady. Poor Mark Hunt, right? Mm-hmm. But I can take that. The John Jones thing, it's just...
Do you think that the UFC would be more exciting and even more popular and would have even... would it be more exciting and more profitable if the UFC had no rules and was run like Pride was back in the day?
Well, then,
and I guess what I'm really asking you,
would it be more exciting?
Because guys would be faster, stronger. It wouldn't grow.
The sport would not grow.
Okay, because it'd be too brutal.
Who would sign their kid up for that?
Right.
Who would aspire to do that?
Because you have these behemoths who are just juiced to the gills.
But then, so now you're talking about WWE.
Now you're talking about the WWE.
But then they're not really fighting, so there's no repercussions. The guys look how you want your superheroes to look.
Right.
So I think these new owners need to go, all right, man. They need to sit down and go, all right.
Treat it like the Olympics.
They just got to decide what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight. They just need to sit down and go, all right, man. Are we headed more towards the Vince McMahon model, which is what they've currently been doing, which is kind of fizzling out because we can't bank on these stars right now? Or do we want to make this thing legit, try and compete with the NBA, NFL, and all that stuff? I think they have to figure out. It is entertainment to a certain point, but it's also competition at its finest, right? Two men fighting.
Yes.
There's nothing.
I love it.
There's nothing more pure than that.
100%.
So I think they need to figure out, and that's the issue they're going to have. Do we keep going down this WWE route, which I think makes it? I think it's such a mistake. I think it makes the sport so cheesy. It's not even funny.
Right.
It's not. Leave that WWE shit in the WWE. That's all fake. Let them have that world. I'm not hating on them. What they do is a tough job, but it's not a sport. It's just not a sport.
Right.
Because Brock Lesnar can go compete in SummerSlam next week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's not a real sport. What are you talking about? So with the CM Punk thing, you just nix out all those gimmicks. This isn't a circus. It's the most real sport in the world.
It is.
So their challenge is going to be, all right, man, there's so many ways to lose. We don't have any stars. John's out.
So many ways
Brock
to lose.
Lesnar's done. Ronda, we don't hear from anymore. Connor, if he loses one more, that star is fucking faded.
That's going to be interesting.
So then who do you have? And go.
That's right. That's the issue. You have a lot of tough guys. The way, you know how I think as a fan, and taking nothing away, but you then have a whole bunch of real tough guys, and every time they fight, it could go either way. And I don't think that sell tickets. Yeah, that's not as exciting.
You have to have a dominating force.
Right, because what you see is two guys grinding out who are highly skilled and dedicated.
But doesn't boxing go through this? I mean, right? And don't get me wrong, UFC is going to be fine. They're going to have their day where they're coming back up. Right now, if it's lows and highs, it's a low right now as far as celebrities, big stars.
I feel like boxing is different in terms of the fact that it's very specific and like it's just punching. It's very fast. It's very it's 12 rounds.
Well,
so.
no shit. I know the difference between boxing.
No, I'm saying, but
I'm saying as far as stars, you had Floyd Mayweather, who's the biggest pay-per-view draw of all time because he's undefeated. No one beat him.
Manny Pacquiao.
You have Canelo. You have Pacquiao. Yeah. You have Triple G, who's coming up.
Yeah. You got Andre Ward.
You have Wilder.
Yeah.
Ward doesn't fight enough, but he is a star.
Yeah.
You know, you have Chocolatito. You have these guys who are undefeated.
Again, that's a big issue, is that you can, in boxing, have dominant fighters for up to 5 years.
You can in UFC, too. Look at John.
You can. He's a rarity.
For 6 years.
I just wonder, as these guys get better at striking with these striking coaches, they have teams around them. They can find out where your weaknesses are. The gloves are small. The margin for error is so much smaller.
You know what's going to have to change?
The gloves?
Nope. The public's perception of what a star is almost. Because if a guy loses a fight in MMA, it's different than if he loses in boxing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if trying to think of someone right now, for example, Jose Aldo. If Jose were to lose to whoever next, he's still an amazing fighter. You don't chalk it up as no, he's done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're quick to write guys off, which is insane.
You're right. You're right. I think that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a very good point. That you know, the perception of what a star is has got. Well, I don't know, man. I still think it's a challenge. I think trying to change perception is very difficult.
That's going to be insanely difficult. Do you, again, and this is where the new brass and, Dana White's still on board. The Fertittas are the only ones out. This is where the new brass needs to figure it out. Do you hire a publicist and a speaking coach who helps the WWE guys to help the UFC guys?
So in other words, you're creating some drama behind the scenes.
Well, they just have to get better. So for example, when Conor gets on the mic and talks shit to Aldo, or Brock Lesnar, Frank, name some, Chael Sonnen, you go through the list of guys who are good on the mic. Well, they've rehearsed those things.
Sure,
they're also very good at. They're also personalities.
100%. That's not a bad idea.
Well, in the WWE, a lot of those guys are kind of introverted. They're not the most outgoing guys.
But they're scripted.
They're scripted.
Yeah, that's a very interesting idea.
But again, which road do you want to go down?
That's we know
because the Olympics, the NFL's not doing that.
I'll tell you
NBA's
a
not
third option. A third option might be to do a 24/7. Where you do not 24/7. What's that? Where
Countdowns. I get what you're saying.
Where you get into what their lives are. Do a quick hour, a minute and a half, whatever.
Doing, brother.
Yeah,
they've been doing that for years.
Yeah,
for years.
And it's not really
for years.
You just want There's one.
Like
this is my kid. I'm trying to send to school.
Did you see it?
I didn't see the.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's all they do, brother.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
You got to win.
You need conflict. You need anger and conflict and
not
all
even
that.
You just got to be a star. It's tough.
Yeah.
The it factor.
It's going to be interesting to see if this $4 billion was a smart buy. It's going to be interesting who made out. We know that the Fertitta brothers sold at the right time.
Well, Fertitta's, their number one passion, don't get it twisted, besides casinos, is football.
Oh, it is?
So when the Oakland Raiders come to LA, they will have a huge hand in it.
Okay.
So that's their passion, is football. They want to be involved in football.